What I am about to show you guys is the biggest waste of time you will ever see. Take a look. Yep, you read that right. After 600 plus hours in Counter-Strike 2, I cannot crawl out of 1K elo for the life of me. I've wasted so much time perfecting my crosshair placement, opening cases, and inspecting my default knife. And all I have to show for it is this silver reminder of all of my shortcomings. 1K elo in Counter-Strike 2 is probably the closest thing I've seen to video game purgatory. At the lowest level, Counter-Strike constantly challenges new players with unforgiving mechanics and questionable teammates with seemingly no way out. But it can't be all bad, right? Right? I didn't pour 600 hours into Counter-Strike just to torture myself, right? In this video, I'm going to talk about what it's like to play Counter-Strike 2 at the lowest possible competitive level. This video will include all of the lowlights,
your brain doesn't fucking work,
all of the weird teammates,
I wear a big diaper,
and all of the missed clutches. This is how I survived 1K elo in Counter-Strike 2.
Give headshot like.
Telling 1K elo players to aim in Counter-Strike is like telling a monkey to perform brain surgery. All they could really do is just get upset. Counter-Strike has some of the most unforgiving gunplay I've seen in any FPS game ever, and all the proof you need is in this clip right here. So take a look.
counter-terrorists win. Nice.
wow.
So you might be thinking to yourself like I am, how did this guy manage to dump a full magazine into me and still end up dying? This is what we call the 1K elo spray control. When two people in 1K elo see each other at close range, their fingers become glued to the shoot button, and what could have been a quick exchange is reduced to a battle between two stormtroopers. This guy missed every shot for two reasons. Firstly, he was moving while shooting, which is a big no-no. Taking as much as a single step when shooting makes your bullets fly in all sorts of directions, and makes your opponent look like Neo from the Matrix. The second thing this guy did wrong was not accommodate for spray. Since each weapon in the game has its own spray pattern, you can't just spray and pray, you actually need to control your gun. Like, what a crazy concept that is. If you couldn't tell, Counter-Strike's gunplay rewards precision over anything else. It's why hitting a headshot and hearing the little sound effect feels so satisfying. But since you're in 1K elo, that precision takes some getting used to. Here, we have a beautiful teammate standing completely still, AK in his hand, with this crosshair kissing this guy's head. So let's see what happens. After missing shots like this, most 1K elo players will simply think to themselves, fuck this shit. If my precision's not going to be rewarded, then maybe my bullshit will. And that's why most players will bank on hitting lucky shots rather than precise ones. And that is how you become trapped in elo hell. People will try and take shots like this. Now, how I swing a corner and dome this guy while moving is beyond me. But since my stupidity was rewarded and my precision or lack thereof wasn't, it's gonna make me take shots that I have no right hitting. But at least it makes for some cool clips. For 1K elo players like myself, the precision required to hit your shots can make the gunplay feel so inconsistent and wonky sometimes.
I'm not gonna lie, that might have been the worst display of Counter-Strike I've ever seen.
But if you're in a position like me, all you have to do is realize that aim labs is free. Hooray! The first step of surviving 1K elo in Counter-Strike 2 is to realize that the game isn't poorly designed. It's that I'm poorly designed, and that I need to look elsewhere if I actually want to see improvement. I mean, after 600 hours, maybe shooting these bubbles in aim labs will help me aim better. Alright, I just hit some aim labs for like 20 minutes, so I think I'm ready to jump back into Premiere, so let's get it started. Simple banana rush, I'm low-key feeling myself, let's try some shit. Yo! Yo, did you guys see that shit? I just hit a 360 no-scope! Yo, I think you guys know what time it is.
Just one in Z character here. I'm sitting in this.
I'm gonna mulligan them.
Okay. I just got mollied. I think they mollied.
Another one. Another one.
Baby, a triple!
Hey, what's up guys? It's Scares here.
Tactical nuke incoming! Enemy spotted.
Oh man, I'm feeling like a new man after hitting some aim labs. But in that little montage, I kind of realized something. The hardest aspect of 1K Elo isn't mastering the gunplay or missing a shot by a pixel or anything like that. It's really dealing with your teammates. Alright, let me be clear. If you put 600 hours into Counter-Strike and you're still in 1K Elo and blaming your teammates, I don't think it's your teammates' fault, but there are a lot of people that make this game much more stressful than it has to be.
I suck your dick.
Since Steam lets you make your username and profile picture whatever you want with little to no restrictions, most people have some pretty heinous combinations on this game. Stuff like this is far from the only reason the Counter-Strike community has garnered a very negative reputation. Racism, sexism, terrorism, pretty much any word that ends with ism describes a bulk of your teammates at this level. Being prejudiced is obviously really bad, we all know that, but what's even worse is some of the gameplay that I've seen from these people. They always suck at the game. I don't know how these people get enjoyment out of playing Counter-Strike when they bottom frag and get muted by the lobby. Having to mute a teammate is almost like playing a man down because communication is very important in Counter-Strike. Part of what makes somebody a good teammate is giving appropriate callouts, but some people don't know when to shut the fuck up. And then on the contrary, you could have teammates that don't speak at all and don't give any callouts. So most of the time, you're either playing with trolls in your ear or in complete silence, with both of these putting you at a pretty big disadvantage. With pretty much every type of teammate I've mentioned so far, they all have one thing in common. It's that they all think that they're the second coming of Donk. Never in a video game have I encountered so many egos at the lowest competitive level. There's probably more egos in a Premier game than in an episode of Blue Lock. What really makes this evident is the amount of people that will accuse other players of cheating after they die. Like I'm toggling wall hacks and using aimbot in 1K Elo and still can't get out. Like how does that make any sense? Now I get that maybe 5 to 10 years ago, playing against cheaters in Counter-Strike was an actual issue that Valve had to address, but we're in the big 26. Valve anti-cheat functions somewhat correctly now, and the probability of encountering cheaters has drastically declined, but that still doesn't stop anybody from accusing people of cheating. After you play Counter-Strike for a bit and learn how to optimally play the game at your skill level, you might want to spread the wealth amongst some of your teammates, but you have to remember that your teammates have egos, and they do not care about what you have to say. You can try to help some of your teammates by instructing them where to go or what sites to hold, but you really can't stop them from mindlessly peeking mid every round or from throwing a flashbang directly in your line of sight.
What?
That's why if you actually want to rank up, you need to be the carry. You need to top frag, and you need to get good. You can't rely on your teammates to carry you at this level. That's why I play wingman. There aren't 5 idiots on a team, just 2. What the hell? Now I know that this might sound pretty weird considering everything I've said in this section, but I feel like a large reason as to why I keep playing this game is because of my 1K Elo teammates. Apart from the types of teammates that I've mentioned in this section, there are some genuinely cool people I've interacted with when playing this game. I'm too fucking nice.
Oh, shit! What?
And I hope that if I keep playing this game and manage to rank up, I'll play with more friendly faces and less hunters hogs. With everything that I have to say, you would think that I don't get much enjoyment out of Counter-Strike, but if that was the case, I would have uninstalled a very long time ago. I present to you Counter-Strike ASMR. Some of the most satisfying sounds in Counter-Strike. Scoping in with the AWP. The AK headshot. The Deagle headshot. The USPS headshot. Ooh, let's hear that one again. Even the voice lines hit.
Bingo, bango, bongo, bish, bash, bosh.
Tell me you don't feel nice and relaxed after hearing that. All of these little moments that can happen in a game of Counter-Strike tickle my brain in such a specific way, It's like virtual crack. Speaking of virtual crack, online gambling is a pretty big component of Counter-Strike, as this game has its own economy of skins that probably prints more money than the US Treasury Department. I'm pretty vocal regarding my disdain towards microtransactions in video games, but I can't lie, I do kinda like how Counter-Strike implements them. All purchases in Counter-Strike are purely cosmetic, so there's no pay to win aspect of the game, and every skin holds real monetary value. Now, I get that this is just gambling in its most degenerate form, but what can I say? I enjoy a good gamble from time to time, responsibly of course. And is there anything more stimulating than gambling?
Holy this feeling!
Okay, on a more serious note, my favorite aspect of Counter-Strike is that at its core, the objective is very simple. Detonate the bomb, defuse the bomb, or kill the other team to win. But Counter-Strike's gameplay finds the perfect level of complexity that makes moments of failure and accomplishment feel deserved. I think the best way to make this point is to look at alternatives to Counter-Strike, like with Valorant or Rainbow Six. Both of these games borrow from Counter-Strike in one way or another, whether it's with the gunplay, stealth, or map design. But none of these games will ever hit as hard as Counter-Strike does, because Counter-Strike's beauty really lies in its simplicity. There are no character classes, abilities, or external factors that can influence the outcome of a match. You are not at the mercy of a tier list, or watching a clusterfuck unfold on your screen every round. In Counter-Strike, it's just you, your teammates, and your game sense. Everybody in a game has access to pretty much the same tools as each other, creating a level playing field. The only thing in Counter-Strike that restricts the tools at your disposal is the game's money system, which is entirely dependent on your performance in game. Take this round for instance. I spawned in with enough money to buy an AK, the best gun in the game, and some armor, and then died immediately without getting a single kill. When I spawn in next round, I can't afford an AK, so I need to test my luck with the cheaper weapon or save my money and hope to find a gun on the ground. This is probably the smartest way I've ever seen an FPS game balance weapons, as the best weapons cost the most money, and if you can't afford those weapons, the game forces you to use less desirable ones, which completely alters how you'll approach a round. A wise woman once told me, it's not about size, it's about the motion of the ocean. Which is fitting, because most of the less expensive guns can be just as serviceable as the more expensive ones if used correctly. That might be the most chud thing that I've ever said. When you're playing an FPS game, you gotta play on a map, obviously. And the competitive pool has 7 maps, all being straight up bangers. Every map in this game is designed incredibly well. I mean, we got Dust 2, the greatest first-person shooter map of all time, no debate, argue with a wall. Only complaint that I have is that some of the maps can grow stale if being played back-to-back, but this is more so due to the fact that a competitive game of Counter-Strike can get pretty long. You know, there are a lot of different things that keep me coming back to Counter-Strike despite the struggles of 1K Elo. But I need to get out of 1K Elo. It seems like I'll need an insane stroke of luck to—
We give them a spanking. There you go.
Oh my god. I did it. What the hell? I gotta take this. My life was pretty good, I think it just got greater. I'm getting to the paper, shooting CT with my laser. Now you could either save, or you could be the savior. Go spend that money now, cause you cannot save it for later. And I just ran up 2K, go put me in the major. This flow is pretty good, I think it's time I change it. I only play Premiere, you will not see me on Face It. I was fucking broke, grinding CS in the basement. Just spawned in, now I'm asking what's the word. All my teammates call me slurs, that's the first thing I heard. What the fuck, what the fuck, now you're gonna go mute. I don't wanna hear your dumbass when I'm playing Dust 2, Dust 2, Dust 2, Dust 2, Dust 2, Dust 2.